I never intended to ask the question. Some questions feel dangerous the moment they form, like they aren't supposed to be spoken out loud, as if the universe itself leans in and warns you to stop. That night, standing in the dim, humming silence with the alien watching me without blinking, I felt that warning press into my chest. The room felt wrong. Not hostile, not cold, just heavier than it should have been, like reality itself was holding its breath. I had been asking him harmless things for hours, about stars, about distant civilizations, about technologies so advanced they made human progress look accidental. He answered calmly, patiently, as if time meant nothing to him. But there was one question I kept circling, afraid of what would happen once it left my mouth. He noticed the shift before I spoke. "You are approaching a boundary," he said quietly. "Crossing it alters perception." I should have listened. Every instinct told me to let it go, but curiosity has always been humanity's most dangerous trait, stronger than fear, stronger than survival. So I asked, "Why do humans die?" He didn't answer immediately. The glow in his eyes dimmed slightly, as if he was withdrawing into something deeper than memory. The silence stretched, thick and unbearable. Then he spoke. "Because you are not meant to stay." The words landed harder than I expected. Not meant to stay. Not meant to last. My stomach tightened. "Stay where?" I asked. "On Earth? In our bodies?" "In this state," he replied. "In limitation." That was the moment I realized this wasn't a philosophical conversation. Whatever he was about to reveal wasn't symbolic. It was structural, built into reality itself. And I had already crossed the boundary. He explained that humans misunderstand death because they believe life is the primary state and death is a failure, a breakdown, an ending. But according to him, life is the interruption. Existence does not begin at birth, he said. You enter restriction. Consciousness, he told me, is not created by the body. The body is a compression, a narrowing filter that allows something vast to experience constraint. Death is not the loss of consciousness, it is the removal of limits. Humans are not designed to live indefinitely because permanence inside one form causes stagnation. A consciousness that never exits a structure becomes rigid, identity hardens, perspective collapses inward. Immortality in one body, he said, would not be evolution, it would be decay. Death is not punishment, it is a release mechanism. I asked him why it had to be so painful, why it had to be wrapped in fear and suffering if it was necessary. He paused before answering. Because fear accelerates separation. The emotional intensity surrounding death forces consciousness to detach completely from physical identity. The struggle is not accidental. The finality is not a mistake. Without that intensity, many humans would cling too tightly to the body, to memory, to ego. If death were gentle, he said, many would refuse to leave. Then he said something that made my hands tremble. The body is intentionally fragile. Its impermanence prevents confusion. If the body lasted too long, humans would permanently mistake the vessel for what they truly are. You already do, he added softly. I asked him about memory, why humans don't remember anything before birth, why near-death experiences feel fragmented and inconsistent. His answer was immediate. Forgetting is enforced, not a flaw, not an accident, a safeguard. If humans remembered what came after death, life would lose its tension, choice would lose its weight, courage, sacrifice, faith, none of it would mean anything if the outcome were guaranteed. Uncertainty, he said, creates authentic decision. Death works because it creates doubt. Doubt forces meaning. I asked what actually happens at the moment of death, not spiritually, not symbolically, but mechanically. He told me that as the body shuts down, consciousness begins to decouple from linear time. Moments stretch, thoughts fragment. The sensation people describe as their life flashing before their eyes is not memory replay, it is time losing its grip. Sequence dissolves, consciousness prepares to exist without order. Then his voice darkened. Not all separations are clean. Some humans cling to identity so tightly, regret, anger, fear, that the detachment destabilizes. These are the experiences humans describe as darkness or being lost, not punishment, resistance. I asked him about heaven and hell. They are metaphors, he said, states of awareness. What humans call heaven is expansion, consciousness widening beyond self. What they call hell is contraction, awareness folding inward, trapped in unresolved identity. They are not places, he said, they are conditions. Then he revealed something that made my skin crawl. The reason humans die young, old, suddenly, violently, peacefully, has nothing to do with fairness. It has nothing to do with justice. It has to do with extraction. Earth, he explained, is not just a habitat, it is a pressure environment. Every human life generates data, emotional data, moral data, experiential data, love, betrayal, fear, compassion. Death is the point at which that data is collected. Seeing my reaction, he clarified. Not bodies, not suffering, consciousness patterns. Each life is a simulation with variables, genetics, culture, trauma, opportunity. Death ends the simulation and transfers the results. That is why no two deaths are the same. Each exit is customized. I asked who receives this data. He said Earth exists within a layered system of observation, intelligences at different levels. Some observe, some guide, some intervene rarely. Humans are not the lowest form of consciousness in the universe. But you are among the most volatile, he said. That volatility is valuable. Then he said something that broke me. Earth cannot sustain awakened consciousness indefinitely. The planet is tuned for learning, not permanence. A fully awakened human staying too long destabilizes the system. That is why those who awaken deeply often die young, withdraw, or disappear. They are meant to imprint, not remain. I asked if death could ever be avoided. Yes, he said, but not biologically. Biological immortality would trap humanity, not free it. Only beings who no longer require bodies do not die. Humanity is not there yet. Death remains necessary. I asked if humans should be afraid. Fear is natural, he said, but fear of death is misplaced. The real danger is living unconsciously. The tragedy is not that humans die, but that most never understand why they lived. Before he left, I asked one final question. What happens after death? He looked at me with something like compassion. You remember, he said, not your name, not your face. You remember what you are. The shock after death is not judgment, it is recognition. Then he warned me, this truth destabilizes. Some will reject it, some will feel relief, some will feel terror. But once it enters consciousness, it cannot be removed. That is why it was never meant to be widely known. When he left, the space around me felt emptier, not colder, emptier. And I understood why death haunts humanity so deeply. Not because it ends life, but because it hints at something we are afraid to remember. Humans don't fear death because it is dark. They fear it because it feels familiar. If what he told me is true, then death is not the enemy. It is the doorway. And the real question is not why humans die. It's what happens when we finally remember why we were here.